Hi, and welcome to Google on the iPad. For today's course, we're going to focus on some of the similarities and differences between using some of Google's educational apps on an iPad versus anywhere else. When I say anywhere else, I mean on a Chromebook, a laptop, or even a desktop. There are some things you can do with the iPad that you cannot do anywhere else. And so stick around and you will learn some of those key differences. I am Elizabeth Curtis. I can be reached at elizabeth.curtis at wosu.org, or you can follow me on Twitter at SingLiz. You can also ask me questions there, and I'll be sure to get back with you right away. And so let's hop right in. The first app we're going to look at today is the actual Google app. And all of the apps that we're going to talk about today, they can be picked up from your app store. And so let's go over to the iPad. And it's going to be this blue icon with the letter A. Looks like it's made out of popsicle sticks. And so that is your app store. If you click on that icon, you can see I've already searched for it. But all you have to do, search for Google. And it will be one of the first apps that you see, and it's right there on the right-hand side, and it actually has that G on there. And I know it's made by Google because it says Google LLC. And as you can see, it's perfect for searching the news, images, and videos. And so let's open that up. So just like you would see on a website, you have the ability to type in for what you're looking for, or you can actually hit that microphone icon and actually vocalize what it is you're looking for. Well, let me show you some other features included in this app. Along the bottom row of the app, there's a home button, and it's on the home screen as we speak right now. But there's also a collections tab. This is perfect for you as the educator or even as your students. Say, for instance, you give them a book report to do. They can put all of the articles that they find under one collection. They can search for images and save those images to a collection. So really it's limitless to the things that you can kind of bookmark within your collections. And so again, that's great for you, the educator, and for the students. There's also a recent tab, and under this tab, they will keep track of everything that you've searched for recently. And at any given point in time, if you want all of those cleared out, you can just hit that clear all button and everything will disappear. And then that last icon is the more. Here, you can actually look at all of your search activity for the last, and you can see I cleared out all of mine, but you can filter it by the day. And then you can come and you can turn on incognito. You can go through even more settings, send feedback, and even ask for help. And so all of these icons are available within that Google app on your iPad. What's also great is I can be signed into my own account, and you can see this icon on the top right-hand corner. I can look and do a search from either one of my accounts here that I've already signed into, and I can manage my accounts right here on this same screen. But one thing that you will find with all of the apps as we use them throughout this course is if you hard press, which just means you hold down on that icon on your iPad, oftentimes they will give you additional options without even opening up the app. So let's hard press that Google app, which is that G. And as you can see, I can do a quick search. I can search for images only. I can do a voice search, or I can search in incognito without even opening up the app. Talking about saving some steps. Now there's 3 additional options, and that pretty much comes with every app, where you can edit the home screen, meaning that I can move that app to a different place on the screen. I can share the app through text messaging, dropping it to someone, or sending it off to an email, or I can, of course, delete the app. But please take note of the fact that I don't even have to open up the app to be able to start the searching that I like to do. And so that is the Google app. Moving right along, Google also has a keyboard app. So the keyboard app is going to be not on the first row, but the first icon on the second row. So again, you just go to your app store, type in Google Keyboard, and it will show you this Gboard option. And I'll show you how the settings look. So in the settings for the Gboard, you can actually change the languages. There are certain themes you can have, stickers. Of course, you can always add feedback, and you can even decide what type of keyboard you want, whether or not you want it to be the QWERTY or any of these other options that are there. So let me show you real quick how it looks. Let's go back to our Google search app. And let's pretend we're going to do a search for Google Classroom. As you can see, this is the default keyboard for the iPad, but I'd like to switch over to my Gboard. And so I'm going to hit that globe and hold it down. And you can see my Gboard is that last option. So I'm going to click on that. And what I like about the Gboard is the ability to swipe over the letters to get exactly what I'm looking for. So if I wanted to search for Google Classroom, I can swipe over the Google, and there is Google. It recognizes it for me. And if I wanted to do Classroom, Classroom, and there's Classroom. I heard someone once say swipe is the new way to type. I absolutely love how quick it is for me to now type or swipe things on this Gboard. Now, one thing iPad is doing, and Apple in general, they are adding that update where you can swipe over the letters to spell exactly what you want to spell. But there are additional features that you can't do with the Apple keyboards that you can do with the Gboard. And so let's go back into that app and I'll show you. So now, for instance, I can go and pick themes and I can go through, and that one looks pretty good. Have that one downloaded. And now when I go back to this Google search, you can now see that the background has changed on my iPad. And I absolutely love the ability to customize. That is not something you can do with the Apple or the iPad keyboards as of yet. So just a little perk and feature of using the actual Gboard instead of the keyboard that comes as a default. You should also note that with the Gboard, Google Translate is included, and you can also specifically just search for images or GIFs right within that keyboard without going to another site. So that's another perk of using the Gboard. So now we have the Google Drive. Now the Google Drive is going to be very similar to what it would look like if you were on any other device. However, again, something that I'd like to point out to you is the ability to hard press. And so we're going to hard press on that Google Drive. And as you can see, they have all of my most recent files right here where I can just click on which one I want without even opening up the app. I think that's amazing. I can reduce that. And then again, I have 4 additional options here. I can search for a file within my drive, first of all. I can upload pictures. And then right there, they have 2 files that I opened up recently right on my drive. And I think that's awesome. And those 3 options are going to be the same at the bottom. And so let's take a look into the app. And again, just to show you how they are pretty similar. Right now I'm in the list view. I can still change that to the grid view. And I like that a little better because I do like to see my colors because I have some of my folders color coded. And then of course you can see your shared drives. And so that is why that files is blue because it's showing me all of the files on my drive. So let's go back over to the top. So the first icon is priority. When I have this on priority, this actually shows me files that I've also recently been in. This next icon are my workspaces for priority. And I personally love workspaces because I like being able to look at all of my different files without opening up several different folders. And so right here in my workspace, I can see all of my files as I would on the computer or on any other device. And then the last one, of course, just like you can see your shared files on another device, you can also see it on your iPad. And some of your same search options are also available. So not much difference there, but the hard press is very important because you can still search for files without even opening up the app. So next we have Google Classroom. And the Google Classroom app looks exactly like that icon that you see on the right hand side of the screen. One of the main differences that we've seen educators note is the fact that in order to view your students' work, you actually have to click on their name to see their work. Now, when you're on another device, most times you can just click on their work and it's right there and you can go through and grade it. But on the app, you actually have to click on their name, then you will see all of their work. However, once you are actually in their assignment, you're able to add feedback on top of whatever work they did. I think this is ideal for students because now they can have a PDF of their assignment with all of your comments over it directly next to their assignment. So if they go back in to make any changes or edits, they can have them side by sides to make the correct edits. So that can be a perk as well. Another feature of Google Classroom, we're going to hop over to the actual app so I can show you, is Student Selector. And Student Selector is awesome because if you're ever having a classroom discussion and you don't want kids to just raise their hand, you really truly want it to be random as you select your student. If you open up one of your classrooms, at the bottom, there's an icon where it says people. I click that icon, and then if you look at the top right hand corner, there is another icon. It looks like it has 3 squares, and then, well, it really looks like 4 squares, but one of them is turned in a different direction. If you click that icon, that is what's called the student selector, and it literally allows you to look at all of the students who are in your class, and they will randomly pick those students. If you are asking a question, having a discussion, and you called on Sherry Crabtree, for example, and she's not there, you just hit absent. They will count that as absent, and her name won't be rotated again. If you were to call on Audra didn't know the answer, but you wanted to give her another opportunity, you can hit call later and it'll go on to the next student. So I can either hit next or I can hit call later or absent. And then say I finish that discussion and I want to go on and have a completely different discussion. I can go up to the top right hand corner and hit reset, and it will reset the entire session. And then I'll have all 40 of my students there where I can pick again. This is a feature that cannot be done on any other device except for your Android or iOS devices. And so since we're talking about Google on iPad, it can only be done on the iPad, can't be done on the Chromebook, laptop, or a desktop. So that is a wonderful feature of Google Classroom that you can use. If you like the code for this class, it is GOIP. Moving on, another feature of using Google on the iPad is using Google Docs. Now, using Google Docs is absolutely ideal on iPads. And I have an example in the presentation that you will have access to. But the main thing that I want to show you again is that hard press. And so let's go to that Google Docs app. We're going to hard press. And as you can see, I can open up a new document. I can do a new document from a template. I have 2 files that I recently worked on, and of course, those bottom 3 are going to be the same. I can do all of this without even opening up the app. Now, if I do open up the app, it is going to show me all of my files that I have in my drive that are Google Docs. And so these are all things that I have been working on. And so I'm going to go back and I am going to start a new document. And untitled, I am going to say test and create that document. One thing that I like to show you is that a lot of the features that you see on any other device, they're also available on your iPad. And so just know that in advance, when you go and hit that plus sign, you can still insert hyperlinks. Once there's actual content on this page, I can insert comments, images, tables, everything is still there, which is awesome. But what's also awesome is the ability to use that Explore tool. Now, Explore tool on any other device is powerful because you can do searches for things without even leaving that Google Doc tab. But it's also available on the iPad. And so that's something I like to point out to teachers. You can have students explore, for example, apples, and I'm typing instead of swiping. Let's swipe. So now I can have them explore apples and have them look up images and have them insert those images right into their doc without leaving it at all, without going to any other app. And I like the ability to be able to do that. So again, it's going to be very similar to using it on an iPad versus using it anywhere else. But the Explore tool is powerful here and wherever else you use it. I personally like to use choice boards on iPads as well. And when you finish this presentation, you're going to have access to this choice board that I made, which is in this left-hand corner. And this is where a student can basically just click on those links and hear a story being read to them and work with a partner to answer the questions at the bottom. And so it's another easy way that you can use Google Docs on your iPad. Another great option is using Google Slides. And so now with using Google Slides, again, I'll point out to you that hard press. And so again, you can open up a new document. You can get a new from template, the alphabet sorter, and the Google on iPad presentation 2020. That's actually an app that a slide deck that I had open recently. Now it may or may not let me. Oh, it did let me show you. Perfect. So let me show you real quick an interactive example that I created specifically for iPads. And so in this particular app, students are responsible for recreating their name using just these base 10 blocks. And because they're on their iPad, they still have the ability to rotate any of these shapes. They have the ability to resize them however they like, and they can start to build their name however they like. And then with that, to make sure that they actually know what they're doing, there's an option where they can come fill out the worksheet once they are done creating their name. And this is great for the teachers and for the students because number one, the students are going to have fun creating their name using those base 10 blocks. And the teacher is going to find joy in the fact that she or he gets to see if their students actually understand place value and if they actually do know how to do all of their regrouping. So it's a win-win on both sides, and it's a great task that you can have students do on your iPad. So definitely utilize Google Slides as well. Terrific app on any other device, and especially good on the iPad. Oh, one feature that you cannot do on Google Slides is you can't insert audio or video from the iPad, but you can do that on any other device. And then Google Forms. It's important to know that you can't use Google Forms app because there is no Google Form apps. However, you can still use the Chrome browser to use Google Forms. And so let's hop over to the iPad, and you can see there's a Google Chrome app, and it's located on that first row, and it's going to be the third app. I'm going to hit that. And so now if I wanted to look up Google Forms, I can actually just type in form dot new, and it'll give me a brand new form. And what I love about being able to use this on the Chromebook is the fact, not the Chromebook, on the iPad, is the fact that I can still use all of my add-ons that I would be able to use on any other device. And so Google Forms, no, it doesn't have an app, but everything that you can do on any other device, you could also do on the iPad with Google Forms. And since we were in the Chrome app as well, let's go ahead and hard push that. And you can see three files that I've downloaded from the Chrome. And then, so again, I can do a new search, an incognito search, a voice search, or I can even scan a QR code, which is really great for students as well. So that's Google Forms. Just a couple of pain points that you should know about. If students ever try to unsubmit an assignment in Google Classroom on your iPad, when they go in to try to edit the document, they can't. However, if they just log out of that document and then log back in, they will be able to edit it. And so that is one step that's added when you use the iPad. Another thing is when you assign a forms quiz using Google Classroom, it doesn't allow you to do the great importing like it does if you were on another device. And so I'm sure that's something that's going to be upgraded pretty soon with all of the changes and upgrades that come about often. But until then, right now, you cannot import your grades. And then lastly, you do not have the ability to add any transitions when you use Google Slides. But again, you can build out your whole slide deck on an iPad and then go to any other device and add any transitions that you may need for that slide deck. One other app that I like to show you is Google Keep. And I like to consider Google Keep as basically sticky notes that are electronic. And so I'm going to hard press on that. I can start a new note, a new list, a new photo note, or a new audio note. And of course, those three at the bottom are the same. And if I click on my Google Keep very quickly, I can see all of my notes and everything that I've been working on recently right in Google Keep. Now, we won't completely go through everything, but just know that Google Keep is going to be similar to using like a Google Doc, but with just less options. And even if you did decide to use Google Doc, Google Keep works seamlessly with Google Docs, and it allows you to. I can come in here and easily transport my Google Keep note into a Google Doc, which is being hidden by. There we go. So I can make a copy of that and I can copy it directly into my Google Docs. And when you are on when you're on another device, it's slightly easier because you can just hit transpose into that Google Doc. But here you can just make a copy and copy and paste it right over to your Google Doc. And so another great app that you should definitely explore if you are using um, Google on an iPad. I also have a link here with more examples and a video of how you can best maximize using Google Keep on an iPad. And so before we go, there's also Google Sheets. And so I will do the same thing. I will show you that hard press. You can get a new document from a template. Those are the two last files that I was in with Google Sheets. And I will show you another template that was created using Google Sheets called House Hunters. And it's perfect for using on an iPad. And it's math practice. And so basically, you can go to a realtor site, choose whichever one you want. Kids can go in here and look up their city and town. And it has directions numbers 1 through 8, just a simple spreadsheet. And your students can go through, fill out all of these pages, and it's easy to do when they're doing it on their iPads. So just wanted to show you another example of how you can use these templates on the iPad. And so this is one of the last apps I will tell you about, Google Arts and Culture. It allows you to tour art museums virtually. You can take selfies and see what art looks like you, and a lot more. I am pretty sure we have a video that's just about Google Arts and Culture. So I'll just show you real quick how it looks on your iPad. If you hard press the arts and culture, there aren't many options there. But if you actually click on it, it's going to load, and immediately you see tons of different art. But one of my favorite features is the art selfie, where I can come in here and take a picture, and then they go through and show me what art looks like me according to that picture that I just took. And it's kind of neat. And so many kids love that. Not only do you get to put yourself in there, but you also get to see what museums are nearby you. It's just a great feature of Google. It's called Google Arts and Culture. So now, just apps that I'd like to mention real quick. We have PhotoScan, YouTube, Google Assistant, Gmail, Google Translate, Google Maps, so much more that you can do on iPads. And yes, all of these things can also be done on any other device. But there sometimes are little differences that are just a little bit quicker and a little more fluent and easier for you to get to, a little more broken down. And it makes it very easy to use on the iPad versus any other device. And so I just want to encourage you to go in there, start hard pressing any, not just Google apps, almost any apps, and you will start to see some of the main differences. But I hope you enjoyed this course today. Again, reach out to me if you have any questions at all. I would love to help. And that is it for Google on the iPad. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.